Call Jesus. He will answer. Call Jesus. Step out on faith. Call the Lord. Yeah. He will answer. He'll answer. He will answer. Activate your faith. Call the Lord. Call on Jesus. He will answer. He'll answer. He will answer. He'll answer by and by. Call the Lord. He will answer. He will answer. I know God will provide. Call the Lord. Everything you need, He will answer. Call Jesus. Call on the Lord. Call on Jesus. He will answer. Call on Jesus. He will answer. Call on Jesus.
1 Kings 3:16. Then came there 2 women, that were harlots, unto the king, and stood before him.
When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them know the statutes of God, and his laws. Exodus 18:16.
1 Kings 3:17. And the one woman said, O my Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house.
The woman of truth, that was the true mother of the baby, acknowledged the noble status of the king of Israel, King Solomon, by calling him, my Lord. She gives honor to whom honor was due to be given.
Note that she denotes the lying wonder of a woman as this woman, meaning that she was not a true relative of hers, and adds the fact that she is however a part of the same household.
This could mean that they were tavern business partners, providing a bed and breakfast service in the home of a man, perhaps a husband, while he was away providing service as a soldier of Israel. Please also note that women were not allowed to own property.
Or it could be that the other woman, this woman, was a maidservant or a concubine in the same household.
Or it could mean that the other woman denoted in our text as this woman was another wife of her husband. Some men had more than just one wife.
The woman of truth, the true mother, states that she had a baby while this other woman, the lying wonder of a woman, was present in the house.
1 Kings 3:18. And it came to pass the 3rd day after that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also, and we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we 2 in the house.
The woman of truth, the true mother of the baby, states that this woman, we have designated as the lying wonder of a woman, was also pregnant and had her baby 3 days later. This is important. The true mother states that they were together alone, and there were no strangers in the house.
This adds some credence to the belief that these 2 women worked at a bed and breakfast tavern inn, and both might have had some kind of relationship with the owner of the household.
1 Kings 3:19. And this woman's child died in the night, because she overlaid it.
The woman of truth, the true mother, states that this woman's child died in the night because this woman somehow rolled over her son with her body and crushed the life out of her newborn baby boy, which means that there would be some evidence upon the body of the crushing by the mother.
1 Kings 3:20. And she arose at midnight, and took my son from beside me, while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom.
The true mother states that this woman at midnight took her dead baby boy and came into the room where she was asleep beside her newborn son, and placed her dead son upon her bosom, and then stole away her son, placing him in her bosom.
Now here in this statement, the true mother's attempt to sway the judgment of King Solomon in her favor by acknowledging him as her superior by using the personal phrase, thine handmaid.
Also note that if both babies had lived, and were fathered by the same man, the older son of the true mother would have been the heir to the man's estate, if the man had no other elder sons.
1 Kings 3:21. And when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son, which I did bear.
The woman of truth, the true mother of the living baby, continues, I rose to feed my son from my breast in the early morning, and he was dead. And upon closer examination in the light of the morning, I concluded that this dead son was not the baby boy which I had birthed into the world.
Note that the dead baby was not beside the true mother when she awakened. The baby who was dead was upon her bosom where she did not place him.
The evidence of his demise was more prevalent in the morning light. The child's body in the light of the morning would have shown some evidence that the newborn baby boy had somehow been crushed by a heavy weight, perhaps the weight of his mother.
So how did a crushed baby end up on top of the true woman's body, upon her bosom, if the true mother was asleep besides her newborn baby boy?
As the true woman was concluding her testimony before King Solomon, this woman, the lying wonder, the other woman, interrupted her concluding statements of testimony.
1 Kings 3:22. And the other woman said, Nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son.
And this said, No, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son.
Thus they spake before the king.
The other woman, denoted in our lesson as this woman, the lying wonder of a woman, loudly proclaimed, No, this is my living son, your son is dead.
To which the true mother, the woman of truth, responded loudly, No, the dead son is your son, and the living son is my son.
One of these two women were lying to cover up a tragedy, and perhaps, if indeed they both were wives of the same husband, one was trying to position herself so that she would become more highly favored than the other woman, if indeed the fathers of their baby boys was perhaps the same man, a husband, married to both of them.
1 Kings 3:23. Then said the king, the one saith, This is my son that liveth, and thy son is the dead. And the other saith, Nay, but thy son is the dead, and my son is the living.
It was time for King Solomon to judge, and in this passage we realize is the first record of King Solomon's first judgment as the king of Israel. It was of paramount importance that the king of Israel get this judgment right.
King Solomon restated the argument that both women had made before the court, plainly, so that all in attendance of the judgment could hear.
The new king decided, guided by the wisdom of God, a course of action, a sort of litmus test so that he could judge righteously and accurately.
1 Kings 3:24. And the king said, Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king.
Surely someone was about to die by the sword. Would it be the true woman, or the lying woman, or someone else?
The lying woman was a thief because she abducted a child that did not belong to her.
The lying woman had killed her own son tragically.
And now the lying woman was willing to destroy the life of another woman's son.
The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. John 10:10.
Would the sword be for the lying woman? Did King Solomon judge so that the woman of truth could live life abundantly with her son?
1 Kings 3:25. And king said, Divide the living child in two, and give half to the one, and half to the other.
King Solomon issued an executive order that was not questioned but was about to be carried out obediently by his loyal subjects when
1 Kings 3:26.
Then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, O my lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, Let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it.
The woman of truth, the true mother of the living child, cried out, O my lord, give her the living child, in no wise slay it.
And the other woman, denoted as this woman, that we have designated in our lesson study as the lying wonder, other woman,
Did not want the living child, that she had claimed was her newborn child, to live.
The lying wonder wanted the living child, that she had lied and claimed before the judge was hers.
That she claimed she had birthed a few days ago.
She did not want him alive.
The lying wonder, she wanted him, this precious baby boy,
killed by the sword.
What animosity, the strong hostility and emotions toward the true mother, the woman of truth, and her son, that she must have hated, or envied, and perhaps was jealous of, burst forth from her lying heart.
This additional evidence from this lying wander's heart was enough to persuade King Solomon to rule in favor of the woman of truth, and her beloved son, and against the lying wander.
1 Kings 3:27. Then the king answered and said, Give her the living child, and in no wise slay it, she is the mother thereof.
1 Kings 3:28. And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him, to do judgment.
2 Chronicles 9:8. Blessed be the Lord thy God, which delighted in thee to set thee on his throne, to be king for the Lord thy God, because thy God loved Israel, to establish them forever. Therefore made he thee king over them, to do judgment and justice.
Jesus lives. Jesus lives. Jesus lives. Hallelujah. Praise his name. Jesus is worthy. My heart, Jesus is working to make my life so divine. He's in my hands. Jesus is working.